Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Broken Theory. Today we got the homie Life of Tom. What's good?
What up, what up, what up, what up?
Blessings, man. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, man. You know what I'm saying? To meet with us. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to ask you, how'd you first get started with music, bro?
Man, pretty much I always used to, just bump mad different stuff as a kid. And then pretty much when I got older, I would revisit those same influences, that were mainly, hip hop centric. And, when I, pretty much, listening to the Joey Badasses, the Pro Era, Capital Steezes, the Underachievers, listening to the Pusha T's, the Kanye West, the JLX. All that stuff inspired me, bro. There was a certain point where there's a certain movement of hip hop in New York that was really going crazy in the early 2010s, and that shit that ass inspired me. And for me, I just put the pen to the page one day and it just clicked, man, and everything from there just followed.
Word. So around what time was this that you first started making your first single?
It's about 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, 2015.
What was going on in your mind, and what was some of the ways that you were recording? Were you recording at home? Were you recording at a homie's house, an official studio? What was it like for you?
Man, I was recording at my crib. I had a friend that just was he was just one of those get money, young fly niggas. And he believed in the dream. And he was just look, bro, for me, my parents were super strong with certain, morals then before, the support they have for me now. So, my bro came through for me, he got me a setup, and it was mad dope. And, I pretty much started tracking from there, and it was super sick. You know what I mean? That, it was always a home thing from there before, started hitting the bigger studios and stuff.
Word. So as an artist, how do you feel you developed your sound? You mentioned, you know what I'm saying, Kanye and listening to other things that were going on. How did you find where you at right now?
Honestly, by going so left that, to see how right it could really go, that's really my thesis, is, to really hone in and, be myself as best as possible. And, kind of working with what's in front of me and, not really trying to, go so far too off to where now there's not really any, base or, anything tangible here to really, actually build on. And that's just kind of always been my thing for real,
Word. Yeah. Cause I feel when you do that, there's not any expectations from the fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly.
When you drop an album, they're I wanted this sound or whatever. They here for the ride. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Same thing with a Ye, a Childish Gambino, a Tyler. They're here for whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whenever those people drop, you know what I'm saying? They fan base don't even have no expectations.
Exactly. And I think that's that's a blessing, in many ways, because, that's just, it's authentically a sound. I've created a sound for myself, it has its own it's remarkable and it's authentic and genuine. I think that's the space that people, especially nowadays more, are starting to look for more in artists, so it's it's a blessing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me real quick, man. How do you decide when a piece of music is ready to be shared with the world? What's the process when you're gonna release something?
Word, yeah, dope question. Honestly, for me, it's pretty much, since this is a job, so it's there's a line of media and there's product and there's consumers I gotta feed essentially, for my own, business, which is the time. So, for me, that's after a certain body of work, I'm okay, this is looking like a certain collection, is looking like a certain, a type of, media release that can now create a deeper world build. And I think that's normally triggered in just different parts and shifts, throughout, the landscape of what I'm doing, whether that's touring or, that's, opening up for a super dope artist or, kind of when it's just time to make moments and things like that. And I think it all starts with the music, and the music's always going to work itself for me. So it's pretty seamless, you know what I mean? And honestly, it just makes sense when it makes sense. You'll just know according to what's going on and what's the vision for real.
Absolutely. You mentioned opening up for other artists and stuff like that. What were some of the first artists that you started opening up for?
Man, I opened up for Smoke DZA at this joint over in Brooklyn called The Meadows. What
year was that?
That was 2018, man. 2019, way earlier in my career. And then, You know, and then, you know, I opened up for like Wyclef at one point, which was super cool.
Yeah,
opened up for Conductor. Conway, pause. Opened up for Conway.
Okay.
Let's see, opened up for Denzel Curry, Marlon Craft, you know, just to list a few, you know what I mean? I love live, man. Like that's my shit, man.
Yeah.
And I just opened up for Lord Sko actually on a whole entire
yeah, shout out Lord Sko, man.
Yeah, shout out my bro Sko, man. Yeah. Nah, he was headlining, man, you know, 9 cities, man. And I was the opener for the whole tour. It was great, it was fire. Nothing like that shit, man.
Absolutely. I actually first heard of you from, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Cocotazo.
Yeah, Cocotazo, yes sir.
Yeah, because the homie Stoic, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Stoic, man. That was the first time that I ever heard of you, and you know what I mean, checked your stuff out, man, and you know, your stuff is dope, man. Talk about how that album came together, man. What was that like, the whole process?
Yeah, man. I love when motherfuckers ask me this. Man, making Cocotazo was actually a time period that kind of shifted a lot for me. You know, around the time, I guess I'll start with what it was like around the time. I was starting to, you know, kind of put myself out, you know, and kind of create my own, you know, consistency and my own visibility. That was starting to create a lot of awareness for myself. So like when we locked in, it definitely made so much sense. You know, it was like March 2024, fresh off a drop with Dash, you know what I mean? Like I remember Static had that shit up on the radio, you know what I mean? Like I'm about to, like, you know, I think I was about to open up for Sky Zoo and like CT real quick. You know, I was in such a creative space, and more importantly, it was Ramadan, bro. And I was that fasting. So, you know, like for me, like when there's not much in your body, bro, and you really put in a focus on something, you know what I mean? Like it'll really crystallize and shit, man. You know, that's
I'm
math right there.
Right now, bro. I'm fasting right now.
I see, that's good.
It's only a day fast, man, but you know,
that's what we do.
I'm here.
So, you know, around that time, I guess all that stuff together created, you know, just this energy that me and Stoic tapped into. You know, Sto was in a fresh space too. He moved into a new spot, man. And you know, we met up every week that March. And like I would say first week of April, we made a new song every week. We made 7 bangers. And you know, I mixed and mastered the whole entire thing. We recorded it under a blanket, you know, and he would sit right next to me, like right here. And I would just punch in, punch out. And you know, he was making the beats from scratch. Nothing was ever like in his hard drive. Really a dope time for myself. Opened up a lot of gates for me, man. Shout out Stoic, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What was the first track that you made that kind of like started it all?
It was honestly, it was Hakeem.
Okay.
It was Hakeem. You know, they want my shit on top of the seams, you know what I mean?
Number 6.
You know, exactly. You know, that's the record that kind of made us feel like, oh shit, like. And then, you know, Stoic called, and this is, you know, around the time I started to work on a whole other body of work. And, you know, Stoic calls me, he's like, yo, you want to do an album? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's kick it, bro. Yeah. You know, since then we just been locked.
Absolutely. So from making that and dropping that, what were some of the reactions you were getting from that album? And was there anything surprising that you like kind of expected them to rock with that they didn't really rock with, or vice versa, you know what I'm saying? Like something that you weren't expecting them to rock with that they really rocked with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have expectations anymore when I put out stuff into the world. I think the music, like I said, is always gonna work itself. And so, you know, for that reason, you know, Cocotazo was a success in its own. You know, I believe to be that the brick by brick build is the best model to ensure, you know, the best outcome. And that's kind of just what I had on my head the whole time. So, you know, for me, that was a whole brick by brick step, you know what I mean? Putting everything together, you know, the rollout, you know, shopping around the business, right, with, you know, the DSPs and everything. And it received a lot of fucking like positive feedback. It was one of those projects that like, oh man, like if you would have told my 17-year-old self that I was gonna do something like that, like I mean, I probably wouldn't believe, bro. You know, it was a different, you know, Stoic also brought me on my nature, and it's the first time, you know, I worked, you know, with a producer who, you know, I didn't even know would, you know, become a Grammy, you know, producer himself, you know,
wow,
bro, like it was crazy, man, you know. And I think that at the same time, like we was working while he was sending that off to Dolce, you know, him and my, you know what I mean? And I remember like getting the demo. He got the demo back and then playing it like, yo, my God, Scott's shit. Like it was crazy, bro. So yeah, to say the least, I think all that stuff, you know, was an amalgamation for success for the album, and just having mad, just good ass response from people, you know. Even now, bro, it's damn near a year since the project's been and here you are talking to me about it, and the people are reposting it still. So I'm blessed for the audience that came from that.
Man, that's amazing. How important is faith to you?
Very, man. It's very spiritual to me. But like it's definitely it's you know, it's something that is the bind, you know, to our dreams and, you know, reality. And, you know, it's the one thing that's kind of like a blindfold, you know, you rap over your face, and, you know, you kind of just try and nitpick, you know, through these different ropes and hurdles that we all, you know, kind of putting ourselves through, man. Faith is powerful, bro. You don't got faith, and you don't got nothing, bro. Gangster.
Absolutely. For you, what makes a good song or a good beat?
Man, like I would say it's really just simplicity. Like I don't need a lot, you know, in a beat. I think for a good song, it's just having a good rhythm, you know, just like a good melody, a good vibe, like, you know, great, you know, lyrical, you know, or just great substance, honestly, you know what I mean? Really, it's a feeling, bro. You know, it needs to feel tangible, you know, like I can, you know, grab it, you know what I mean? And I think that, to me, you know, all my favorite musicians make me feel like that. And, you know, if I can do that for people, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure I'm making nothing but good songs, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like my like thesis for it.
I feel it. So walk me through like an average day with you. What is it like?
Man, LIFEOFTHOM's waking up, probably up like 9, maybe 10, depending what's the day. You know, if it's not the gym, I'm going straight into like, you know, my laptop for something like this, Zoom meeting like this. You know, I'm calling my team, then I'm straight into meetings, you know, either with like, you know, the producer I'm working with, or, you know, maybe like, you know, my management or like my lawyer or something. And then if I'm outside, I'm probably working at a, you know, out of a cafe spot. I'm at the studio over at Sony, or, you know, over by Wall Street here in the city. And then from there, I'm probably out, you know, going to like some event, maybe like, you know, I'm going to something that the homies is playing over at some venue, or maybe like a Saba in town, you know, having a pop-up I might just slide to. And then for me, you know, probably go back to the lab again, you know, end off my night there, you know, work on some things, sharpen some stuff up. And if it's not there, I'm at probably another event politicking with some A&R or like some homie that, you know, we both just, you know, we just
I feel it. I feel it. Definitely feel it.
I like
one
to keep,
place? Go ahead.
I like to keep the crevice and, you know, the wedges of everything filled with what this is.
Yeah, man, because if you're not all the way in it, man, the fans could tell. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing, man, especially with the social media age, man. Like, authenticity is the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Being yourself and not really, like, being like an industry plant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you told me already that's the formula for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. What's one place you would like to go that you've never been already?
Oh, man. One place that I want to go I've never been to already. Japan. I want to go to Tokyo, bro. I want to go to Shibuya. I want to go to Kawasaki. I want to go to, you know, like, man, I want to go everywhere there, bro. Like, that's, you know, I'm a big anime fan. I'm a big, you know, just fan of culture in general. So, like, yeah, that's the dream, bro. I mean, I'm personally, you know, patiently working towards, you know, getting a gig, or, you know, maybe like a situation.
That would be fire, man. You got to spend like a whole month out there if you did that, bro.
Yeah, bro, you know what I mean? Like, whole month. Business. like do my thing, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to shoot some videos when you go out there too, man. So just
everything,
put that in motion, man. We manifesting it right now.
You know we're putting in the universe.
Already,
yes, sir.
Already. Nah, for real. What are some of your favorite animes? You mentioned that you like anime. What's some of your favorite animes?
Oh man, Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto, Soul Eater, Bleach. You know, even like the newest stuff now, kind of like Chainsaw Man, you know, Don, you know, Solo Leveling, you know, those stuff, man. It's mad fire.
Nah,
I'm a nerd, bro.
Nah, I feel it, man. Hey, anime is dope as hell. Yo, that's fire. That's fire. That's crazy. Yeah, I see it. I see it already, man. What projects are next for you, man?
Yo, I got an album dropping this fall with Plain Pat.
Oh shit, that's fire.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that process, man. What was it like? How did you meet that legend?
Man, Plain Pat, bro, my guy. My boy, Dr. Genius. You know, before we got cool, man, through my guy Real. That's who manages me. He actually put, you know, Dot and Pat just happened to be in the studio over in LA, and you know, they was going through artists and stuff, and you know, those guys are long time collaborators, you know, through their work through Cudi, you know, like you know, Trav, Kanye, etc. And you know, Pat just seen what it was. Dot hit my manager Real. It was like, yo, can you try and track this kid? He's in New York. And then top of 2024, I get a text from my man James Burns, who was working at Brewery, who was also another collaborator of mine. And he was like, yo, like this legend Plain Pat is trying to like tune in with us and work on some shit, bro. Like, what's good? Like, can we do this? And we got in around March, around the time the same exact like week even I started Coco Tazo with Stoic.
That's crazy.
And yeah, bro, we banged out like a couple joints, and then pretty much throughout the last year was just a lot of shopping around, you know, working on the joints, adding, you know, getting me around other people, you know, just kind of like, you know, spreading, you know, just me and Plain Pat pretty much syncing up, you know, to create a amazing body of work. It's a blessing. I mean, to be like damn near like the only rapper right now, you know, blessed like with beats from Plain Pat, and you know, even just work with him, getting to meet like all his peoples, you know, like hip hop, Kiambo, like, you know, guys like, you know, like you know, legends like Josh Dick, you know, super dope agent, you know what I mean, and even, you know, more, you know what I mean. It's a blessing, bro. Like, you know, it's really a blessing, and you know, we've you know, it's been tightening up. You know, right now we're like in the last stretches of things, and I'm super excited for everybody to hear this project. It's definitely, you know, it's an amalgamation of, you know, LIFEOFTHOM, and kind of like, you know, see, I've been going for this long to see I'm just getting started for real.
Word, absolutely. How many tracks we getting with that one?
We're getting about 10 masters, man.
Fire. That's dope.
10 masters, sleek.
We getting vinyl?
Y'all getting vinyl as well. Vinyl, cassette. We're gonna do the whole shebang. That'll actually, fun fact, be my first time running vinyl. Wanted to run vinyl for Coco Tazo, but you know, like sometimes, you know, just like things didn't really fully make sense on the biz end, and we were already trailing and doing so well with like all the shirts and like the season and shit. Like, he was just like, fuck it. So, you know, the fans, you know, for a while have been asking me vinyl, and I'm like, I gotcha. Like, wait, because like I'm gonna have really special shit to give y'all for
real, man.
Vinyl. We're
gonna have a talk on a side note. I'm gonna put you on some game real quick. You might be able to do that in a different way.
Yes, sir.
But any books that you're reading that changed your life?
Yeah, man. I read The Alchemist, man. Right now I'm reading The Five Agreements by Dom Ruiz. I read the four agreements, but I never read I didn't know they had 5 agreements. I was like, oh wow.
He also got another one, Mastery of Love.
That's the next one I want to read after this. I mean, he's dope, man. Like I love books like 48 Laws of Power. You know, stuff like that, man. It kind of gives you gems and codes to the universe, especially as an artist doing this shit. You know, when you got so much liberty and free reign, you know, you kind of want to understand, you know, yourself and give yourself, you know, self-knowledge, you know, to maneuver, you know, correctly, and, you know, use, you know, what you know to the best of your advantage.
Absolutely, man. What are some of the things, or what would you say is the biggest takeaway that you got from the book so far, or the four agreements?
Well, the biggest takeaway from the four agreements was like, it was mad simple. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, if you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, it's life isn't personal. And like straight up, you got four codes of merit to live by for yourself that is pretty easy to follow, but, you know, really hard as life progresses because we're met with different, you know, intervals of challenges that, you know, may oppose those ideals. And that's, you know, the self-work you got to do. So, you know, that's pretty much what I left off with that, you know.
Nah,
I think everybody should read them shits, man.
Yeah, nah, definitely. It's definitely cheat code to life, for real. Especially as an artist, man, you know, we all go through all different types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you can get that'll change your life. And like when you hear it, it just sets you in a state of flow. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like your problem is solved pretty much. What sacrifices have you made to get where you at right now?
Man, God, fuck, damn it. We're like, man, like fucking so much, bro. You give up, you know, I don't know where to begin. I mean, I personally used to chill a lot. I don't chill really like that no more. Like hanging out with friends loosely, you know, you kind of give up like, you know, personal time, whether, you know, it's taking that, you know, time to go and do this, you know, that you love to do that's separate from, you know, the music, or like even want to like, you know, play mad video games for hours, or, you know, even work like a regular job, you know what I mean? Like, or, you know, family, you know, to some extent, sometimes not being so on point with certain joints. And that's just because like I'm out here, I'm working, you know, I'm like just a lot of, you know, stuff I'm scaling, and like, you know, the time, my time becomes so thin. But, you know, it's like my boy, Thelonious Martin be telling me, every time he be hitting me up and he's like, yo, you filling your cups, bro? Are you filling your cups? Are you filling your cups? You know, before I went on tour with Sko, we was macking over at the Blue Note Cafe, you know, for Saba's residency. And, you know, one thing we caught a deep discussion on was what fills your cups and how important that is, you know, especially through this journey, you know, because essentially, you know, the game can, you know, tear you down, or it can, or it can build you up, you know, different. So, you know, it's always important, you know, to always remember those things for real, man. It's a journey, bro. So you gotta work with certain things, you know, better than others.
Absolutely, man. And hey, I just want to say, man, that's a good friend that checked on you like that, man. Because you know what I'm saying.
Shout out to my boy Theo, man. Shout out to that whole Chicago team, man. Femdot, like Nick Jenkins, you know. Shout out Mick. Taylor Bennett, you know. Shout out Black Sam, you know. Shout out my boy GQ, like. All the lords over there, man. That's love, man. Chi-Town, show love, man.
Absolutely. Man, I noticed that you wiped your feed completely clean, man. What's going on with that?
Honestly, so I guess I'll start off with, I've never was a firm believer that you should do that, even if you're, you know, making or about to drop a whole album. Though, you know, I never really like kind of did a proper kind of world build that to prepare for an album. You know, you know, I do have some things on the business that I've kind of sewed up, you know, in terms of infrastructure and just like partner. And, you know, now that like that's inbound, it's like more of there's more leverage to do things more in a proper, you know, way. And you know, at the end of the day, these things are archived, and I can always, you know, lay back as many of them as if I want. Though right now it's album mode, bro, you know, and I kind of want to bring a mystery to people. Like, why did Tom clear his shit? Why isn't Tom maybe posted this week or this week? But he keeps posting on his story and he keeps teasing this thing, like, you know, like, you know, it's something basically that is, you know, a very conscious step, I think, bro. Like, especially if you're gonna do it, because like you gotta be mindful when you do it. You know, you can't do it like as a gimmick. I know people that like to do, you know, feed cleanses. That's a thing, you know. But for me, I've grown a lot. I feel my story in the last year to two has been crazy, and I think now it's time to show others that we really just getting started. And you know, it's about to be a whole new build to the world. You know what I mean? So
I feel it.
Want that first post to be that teaser, that trailer. You know what I mean? from there, we build it, kind of post some shoots, from here, post, look one over there, look to, what I mean? Kind of like really, just making more of a conscious effort for that. Word. And then, I'll go lolly fucking crazy.
Nah, I feel it. So like the process for that and like, the album coming out and stuff like that, are you like, or have you been bulk shooting stuff and just like stacking up content so you can just go crazy and just like release a whole bunch of shit at once, or like what's the plan?
Really the plan, I'll keep it, base level, without giving too much, though. Once you understand the way the internet works, and you can understand the way algorithms work and things like that, kind of doing something like this isn't actually harmful. If actually anything, it actually betters your reach and creates more just, optics, because once again, you're not posting, but it's like, once you kind of start, bringing that back up, it's way more profound. You know what I mean?
It kind of refreshed everying.
Yeah, and it kind of gives a new like white to it. Like when a snake sheds his skin, my nigga, like it's like the same thing. I'm kind of, but I'm doing that more so, and with the music, what I mean, and with my art, my fans, to the the internals, the A&Rs, I'm doing that for the world of the business, the world of the recording industry in itself, all those agents in the live showbiz, so they're looking at me like it's a lot of eyes on the kid, and they're looking at this cleanse, and they're like, okay, he's about
something's going on. Something's going on.
Exactly.
What's happening? Let's put our offers in now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, bro. And you know that stuff at the end of the day, it's no different than like when Walmart or like GameStop or even a storefront just kind of has to wipe their whole entire, what I mean, just to
everything must go.
Exactly, to create more space for better product and just just more, I mean, for the company. It's the same here for the LIFEOFTHOM.
Absolutely. What was it like working with Powers Pleasant?
Oh man, we were just in the lab last night, bro. It's like 4 a.m, so I'm dumb tired right now. That's my guy, bro. I got mad love for that dude in a lot of ways, man. I got a lot of love for Pro Era and Beast Coast and all those guys. Working with Powers is fun, man. Me and him, we think a lot the same. We're pretty much, he be clowning me a bunch because I be working OD and he be like, damn, nigga, you don't take a break. But yeah, it's my bro, man. Like when I first met him, we met in the funniest way ever, like with my bro, K Sachi, and this other dude named Kyle Rhodes, who used to throw mad parties here in the city. Met him like 2017 at Art Basel, and this old label, and this other, tech company that I was working with. It was like a whole thing, and like me and him, the label and the tech company was trying to put me and him together, and like it was a part of a thing, and like it kind of went left. And it was so funny because I've seen him every year at like South by Southwest, or like I see him at like fucking Gov Ball or something, and then like Powers is his own person. He's got a lot of repping the game. He's
been in it for a minute.
He's a super respected producer, and even just a person mad like people got a lot of love for. So we reconnected last year. He hit me up to open up for his show in NYC, where he brought out Joey, Pro Era, Zell, Ferg, and mad people. And it was ever since then we just been locked in, man. We're many records in deep, bro, but it's been a very momentous experience,
How many did y'all make last night?
Woo, about 4.
Damn.
Yeah, about 4. We locked in at like 11.
Okay.
And then it was like 4 o'clock, and I was like, all right, bro, we out. And it was,
I feel it. Man, let's talk about this new single, Substance.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? How did that transpire?
Man. That's a great song. So I've been working with this guy named Gutty. He manages My Name Isn't J-Mac, and that's LA, but J-Mac's from VA. And he has a spot here in the city. We've been making songs and like damn near every fucking week, bro. And it started off with my 85 joint that dropped January 2024. And then we paused for mad long. but was cooking up every month for me. And one of those months we got in with Nolly. And Nolly is one of my favorite artists, man. She's a really dope artist, you know. She's kind of like in that world with Summer Walker, SZA, and like Killer for real. Fire. Dope artist. And you know, I called her to the studio and she came through and she laid her vocals, and then since then, you know, it was kind of one of those joints like, yo, it's in the tuck for me. If we put it out, we put it out, and we was like, fuck it, new month, time to drop.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep the incentive going, you know, and bro, everyone's been fucking with that shit. We shot the video. My bro Dre, he shot the video, colored it, I edited it, and you know, people been loving that joint since. I'm glad that came out in the time span that it did, especially before like all this stuff with like that I'm about to start rolling out with, but even more summer, bro, and it's such a summer song. Like, such a summer song. Like I was, you know what I mean? Everybody's been telling me that, you know, so yeah, man, substance, bro. It's a lot of substance in the world, man. A lot of niggas lacking. Gotta get right.
Yup. Definitely. How do you deal with creative block? And do you ever have moments to where you feel like you're in a slump?
Never. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna be so honest. You know, they say when you're so one with your craft, you can never really notice certain defaults or defects, because you just interface and you know how to counteract. Because to me, it's all a loving experience, bro. I came down to love, my G. Like that's really it, bro. And for real. And, you know, my soul is an extension of me to, you know, creative for real. And to be honest, bro, I can't really tell when it's not hitting, bro. All I know is I've been in the studio damn near every day. I've written a new song damn near every day. I've made beats damn near every day for like a year and some change straight. I haven't missed. I honestly don't know why. I really don't know why, bro.
I don't think you should question it, bro. I don't think you should question it.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Like I was talking to Pat the other day about this too, you know, and he was saying the same thing, you know, at this dinner we had, and like, you know, I don't know. I think when you're such in a mode and you're working towards a mission and you're on that trek, bro, it don't really matter to have a win or a loss. It's like I'm going and I'm gonna make sure that, you know, if I know what it takes to make a good song, if I know what it takes to make a good beat, I don't gotta question that. The aura gonna just be there. It's going, you know, it's gonna be on point for me. It's like it's automatic, bro. You know, so
all in.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean?
Mission over move, bro. Mission over move.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the way.
What would you say is your biggest investment in the music besides time?
Honestly, man, kind of all the other things, you know, investment, you know, into like PR, you know, investment into, I would say all the assets, you know, that kind of create, you know, the artist's relations and development. And I think that's kind of through, you know, the music videos, through the studio, through mixing, through mastering, through PR, through lawyer, through management, through merchandise. That creates now commerce. Now you have to create a system that now, you know, optimizes that through your earnings, you know, and all this stuff takes money. You know, my biggest investment, honestly, is me, you know, and I, you know, aside, you know, what we were saying before, you know, it's really me, man. And I think, you know, actually kind of putting up, you know, a lot of bread, you know, from my own two pockets, you know, kind of created the leverage where it's like I own 100% of my catalog. You know, I've created a system that, okay, songs dropping out, cool. All right, we got to hit up this page for seeding. We want this look from this writer. Okay, cool. All right, editorials. All right, let me go hit up someone like a Carl Cherry or like a Carly from Apple or something. You know what I mean? And you know, and I think all that, you know, even the Instagram ads, you know, the meta ads, you know, it's a whole chain list, bro, that really kind of takes this thing off the floor for real. But, you know, I never, you know, for every month, I did it every month, bro, every fucking month, damn near every month, you know, and I think that right there is it is crazy. I'm super glad that I was able to do that. And, you know, now that, you know, we're moving more into a thing with a partner where, like, you know, that bread necessarily ain't coming out my own two pockets. But now, you know, I created the plateau. I wouldn't say the plateau, but I created really the leverage, you know, to see how they gon', you know, run that versus how I am and how, you know, how it all makes sense together. And you know, all at the end of the day, it's all learning experience when it comes to, you know, money invested and, you know, just investing in oneself. You know, you got to understand it takes a village to raise an artist. So,
Absolutely.
you know, you know what I mean? Like we here.
That machine, man.
Saying, bro, even if you know, it ain't the labels, bro.
You gotta be the machine.
Be the machine, bro. Manifest the machine. Know what's the machine. Know its mechanics, parts, everything to it, bro. And when you kind of compartmentalize everything, it just is so much straightforward.
Nah, I feel it. What are 3 of your favorite albums of all time that have made you into who you are?
Woo! Kendrick Lamar, Pimp to Butterfly. Joey Badass, 1999. Marvin Gaye, Say the Children.
I fuck with that, man. He had that ready. I feel it. Man, what would you say is 3 of your favorite movies?
Woo! Oh, man, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Love that movie.
You see the show?
It's like
this. It's all right? Oh, okay.
Definitely 007 Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to put definitely Interstellar. Yes, sir.
That's fire.
Yeah, man. That right there, bro. Fucking what's his name? Who does those movies? Nolan, Christopher Nolan. Jesus, that guy.
Yeah, he a beast.
He's crazy, bro.
Who's somebody that you would love to work with that you haven't already?
Bro, I would love to work with Brad Pitt. He's dope. He actually is really into the music a lot. He has this really dope studio that Trav recorded and I think finished mixing Utopia at over in France.
I seen it. I think with the whole, it has like a whole bunch of white futuristic looking stuff.
Bro,
that's fire.
Like,
yeah,
that's the one I want to work with. Like he'd be in a space, but like, you know, not to make it, you know, so left field. Definitely someone like Conductor Williams. One, you know, really dope producer. I got a lot of respect for, man. Rome Streets, you know, I was just chopping over Rome Streets a little bit ago before we just got on this call.
Okay.
But yeah, man, definitely. And I think maybe one more. I know you asked for one, but I like to talk. So
all good.
Probably Knowledge.
Oh, that's fire. I can hear y'all making some dope shit.
Yeah, Knowledge. We could. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I bet, man. We got a minute left. I just want to ask you, man, if you could go back in time, you know what I'm saying, tell yourself one thing, what would you tell them and why?
Yo, just take your time, bro. Love yourself, and more importantly, you know, always be open to ideas and you know, save your money and, you know, don't be distracted, limit them. And just stay focused, you know, go every day and never stop. Like truly, just don't stop and enjoy the journey. You know what I mean? You know, it's not that it's supposed to be hard and it's not that it's supposed to necessarily be easy. It's just this thing, you know, and it's yours. However you make it, kid, and have fun.
Yep. It's going to suck either way. You might as well live your life and have fun with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Man, I really appreciate you making some time to talk with us. You know, we had a couple, you know what I mean, misunderstandings with it, but hey, we here. Yeah, you already, man. Bless, man. I appreciate you, man. Much love.
And love, man.
Yes, sir. Already. Yes, sir.